the hidden danger in your kitchen. Let me ask you something that might sound simple at first, but stay with me because this might just change your life. Have you ever sat down with a nice warm plate of white rice? Or toasted up a couple slices of soft, comforting white bread, just like you've done for years, maybe decades, and thought, this is harmless, right? Now imagine this. You're doing everything you can to take care of yourself. Maybe you're walking a bit more. Maybe your doctor told you to watch your blood sugar or your heart. So, you're doing what feels right, eating a lighter meal, maybe a bowl of rice and some vegetables, or a sandwich with a little turkey or tuna. You're not reaching for cookies or chips. You're making what feels like a smart, safe choice. But what if I told you those very foods, yes, the white rice and white bread you've trusted for so long, could quietly be doing harm? I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because I care. Because most people over 60 are being told to watch what they eat. But nobody tells us what that really means. They just toss out terms like glycemic index or processed carbs, and expect us to know what to do. So today, I want to have a real talk with you. Not a lecture. Not a science class. Just a conversation, me and you, about something I've learned that could truly make a difference in how you feel every day, how much energy you have, how clear your mind stays, and maybe even how long you live. This isn't about never enjoying food again. This is about understanding what's really happening inside your body and what you can do starting today to protect it. So take a deep breath. Let's walk through this together. Because the truth is, white rice and white bread may seem like innocent, familiar friends, but for many of us, they've become silent saboteurs. Let me explain. When we eat white bread or white rice, especially often or daily, our body processes them very quickly. It's like dumping a bucket of sugar into your bloodstream. Now, they don't taste sweet like candy, but inside they act just like sugar. Why? Because both white rice and white bread have been stripped of their natural fiber, vitamins, and minerals during processing. All the good stuff nature put in there, gone. What's left is a refined carbohydrate that breaks down lightning fast, flooding your blood with glucose. Your body tries to handle it, your pancreas releases insulin, your cells try to soak it up. But over time, that system starts wearing out. And for many people over 60, especially those with a family history of diabetes, weight struggles, or heart problems, this daily glucose spike is like a slow, invisible fire inside the body. Now, I'm not just tossing scary words around. Let me give you a clear picture. Think of your bloodstream like a highway. Glucose or sugar is the traffic. When you eat white rice or white bread, it's like opening the floodgates. Suddenly, the road is packed. Your body rushes to clear it out using insulin. But if this happens day after day, year after year, eventually the system gets tired. The insulin stops working as well. The sugar lingers. And that's when trouble starts. You may start feeling more tired after meals. You might get that afternoon crash, or find yourself hungry again just an hour later. Maybe you've noticed weight around your belly that just won't go away. Or you've been told you're pre-diabetic, and weren't quite sure what that meant. Here's the truth. Daily consumption of refined carbs like white rice and white bread is a major driver of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes in older adults. And it doesn't stop there. Over time, elevated blood sugar levels damage the lining of your blood vessels. That increases your risk for heart disease, stroke, kidney problems, and even cognitive decline. Yes, researchers are now calling Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes because of its strong connection to sugar and insulin issues. And here's the part that really gets me. So many people, good, smart, caring people, go their whole lives eating these foods thinking they're making a simple, safe choice. No one ever told them it could hurt them. No one told them it wasn't the same as it was 50 years ago, when food wasn't as processed and our bodies were younger, more forgiving. But you deserve to know now. It's not too late. Not even close. Because once you understand the why, it's so much easier to start making small changes that truly support your body. I'm not here to tell you to give up every comfort food or never enjoy a sandwich again. I'm here to help you make better choices one step at a time that can help you feel better day by day. Now you might be wondering, if white rice and white bread aren't great for me, what do I eat instead? We'll get there, I promise. And you'll be surprised by how many delicious, satisfying options you already have in your kitchen or grocery store. But first, I want to dig just a little deeper, because I think when we truly understand what's happening inside our bodies, we stop resisting the change and start embracing it. So let's go back for a moment to what breakfast might look like. That let's say you have toast with butter or jam, maybe even a bowl of cereal or a piece of fruit. First, you feel fine, maybe even energized. But about an hour or two later, you're hungry again. Maybe even a little shaky or moody. That's the blood sugar roller coaster that it's real. And it's exhausting. Your body spikes, then crashes. And guess what happens next? Cravings. For more carbs. More sugar. It's not about willpower, it's a biological cycle. And the older we get, the more sensitive we become to those spikes and crashes. What we could get away with in our 30s or 40s. Not so easy now. Our metabolism slows, our hormones shift, and recovery takes longer. That's why some people feel foggy in the mornings or tired all day. It's not just aging. It's often blood sugar swings in disguise. Now I know this might sound overwhelming, but stay with me. Because here's the good news. When you start replacing white rice and white bread with smarter choices, like whole grains, fiber-rich foods, or low-glycemic alternatives, you start calming the storm inside your body. Your blood sugar stays more steady. Your energy lasts longer. Your mood improves. And that belly fat? It becomes much easier to lose when insulin levels settle down. That I've seen it happen. I've heard stories from people just like you. One woman in her 70s told me she stopped eating white bread every morning and switched to a high-fiber alternative. Within 2 weeks, her energy soared. She started walking more, sleeping better, and even her joint pain improved. Her doctor was amazed. But the real change? She felt in control again. And that's what this is really about, isn't it? Feeling in control of your health. Feeling hopeful. Not helpless. So here's what I want you to take from this first part of our conversation. You don't have to overhaul your entire life in one day. You don't have to fear food. But it's time to stop eating white rice and white bread daily, because they're not serving you anymore. They may have been part of your routine for years. They may even remind you of comforting meals from childhood. But your body has changed. Your needs have changed. And there are better ways to nourish yourself, ways that honor the incredible person you are and the life you still have ahead of you. In the next part, I'll walk you through exactly what happens in your body when you make the switch, and I'll give you real simple food swaps that taste great and work even better. But for now, just take this in. You deserve to feel strong, clear, and energized. And I promise, the road to better health starts with just one step. Are you ready to take it with me? Let's keep going, you said. What happens when you stop eating white rice and white bread? Alright, friend, if you're still here with me, that means something I said earlier spoke to you. And I want you to know that means the world to me. It means you're open. You're willing. You care about your health, your future, and your family. And let me tell you, just that alone already puts you ahead of the game. Now, let's dive deeper into what actually happens inside your body when you stop eating white rice and white bread every day. I promise this part isn't going to be too technical. We're going to keep things simple and clear. Because once you understand what's going on under the hood, those cravings and old habits start to lose their grip. So here's the big picture. When you stop feeding your body those fast-burning, fiberless carbs every day, your entire internal system starts to breathe easier. Your blood sugar stops spiking. Your insulin levels stabilize. And guess what happens next? Your body starts healing. Let me explain. You remember how I mentioned earlier that white rice and white bread act like sugar inside the body? Well, when we remove those things from our daily meals, even just most of the time, your blood sugar levels begin to balance out. No more sharp spikes. No more sudden crashes. No more roller coaster of feeling great 1 hour and exhausted the next. Your body finally gets a break, and for many people over 60, that's a huge relief. See, by the time we reach our 60s, our cells have been through a lot. They're less sensitive to insulin than they used to be. That's why even healthy-looking foods, like white toast or a small bowl of rice, can still cause big problems behind the scenes. But the amazing part is, our bodies are also incredibly resilient. Even after years of eating these refined carbs, change is still possible. In fact, some research shows that within just a few days of switching to a diet that's lower in refined carbohydrates, insulin sensitivity begins to improve. That means your body starts processing sugar more effectively again, just like it did when you were younger. One study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that when people swapped refined grains like white rice and white bread for whole grains, their blood sugar control improved in as little as 2 weeks. 2 weeks, think about that. Just 2 weeks of making smarter food choices can start to shift the direction of your health. That's incredible, but it's not just about sugar. When your insulin levels settle down, your inflammation drops too. That's a big deal. Chronic inflammation is linked to joint pain, heart disease, brain fog, even depression. And the truth is, white rice and white bread can feed inflammation because of how they're digested, too quickly, too easily, too much. So when you stop eating them every day, your body finally gets a chance to cool down. You may notice your knees don't ache as much when you walk. Your fingers might feel less stiff in the morning. Your headaches may happen less often. Even your mood can lift. And let's talk about weight for a second. I know that for many people over 60, losing weight becomes a lot harder than it used to be. You're not eating much, but somehow the scale doesn't budge. Sound familiar? That's where insulin comes in again. See, when your insulin is high, like it often is when you're eating a lot of white bread and white rice, your body holds onto fat, especially around your belly. It's like your metabolism slows to a crawl. But when you reduce those foods, your insulin levels drop, and suddenly your body becomes willing to let go of that stored fat. One man in his mid-60s told me that all he did was stop eating white bread sandwiches every day. He switched to sprouted grain bread, added more vegetables, and started eating a few boiled eggs in the morning instead of cereal. In 3 months, he lost 18 pounds without ever setting foot in a gym, but even more important than the number on the scale? He said he felt younger, lighter, clearer in the head. Like he'd woken up from a fog he didn't even know he was in. That's what I want for you, because this isn't about being skinny. It's about being strong, energized, clear-headed. It's about having the strength to walk with your grandkids, cook your favorite meals, travel without feeling worn out. It's about living longer, but more importantly, living better. Now let's talk about alternatives. Because maybe you're thinking, okay, I'm ready to cut back on white rice and white bread, but what do I eat instead? I've got you covered. Let's start with bread. If you love toast or sandwiches, don't worry. You don't have to give them up. You just have to switch to better versions. Look for breads labeled 100% whole grain or sprouted grain. Ezekiel bread is a popular one that's made from sprouted whole grains and legumes. It's dense, hearty, and doesn't spike your blood sugar the way white bread does. Some people even say it keeps them fuller for hours. You can also try rye bread, real, dense rye, not the kind with added sugar. It has more fiber and a lower glycemic impact. And if you're open to new things, try lettuce wraps instead of bread, or use roasted sweet potato slices to make open-faced sandwiches. Yes, it sounds strange, but they're delicious and packed with nutrients. Now for rice. If you're used to eating white rice with dinner, try switching to brown rice. It still gives you that warm, familiar texture, but it has more fiber, more minerals, and doesn't spike your blood sugar as fast. Quinoa is another great choice. It cooks just like rice, but it's higher in protein and much gentler on your system. Other options? Barley, farro, wild rice, even cauliflower rice if you're trying to lower your carbs. But here's the key, don't just think about what to take away. Think about what you're adding in. When you replace white rice and white bread with whole foods, you're giving your body the tools it needs to heal. More fiber to feed your gut, more protein to keep you strong, more nutrients to support your heart, your brain, your joints, and you'll feel it. Not just in your body but in your mind. Because food affects everything, your mood, your memory, your sleep, even how you handle stress. I've had people tell me they used to feel anxious all the time, racing thoughts, low energy, difficulty focusing. And when they cut out those refined carbs and started eating more whole foods, it was like a light switch flipped. Their mind felt calmer, their thoughts clearer. They weren't snapping at loved ones for no reason anymore. That's the power of food, and you deserve that peace. Now, I know change isn't always easy. Maybe you've been eating the same way for years. Maybe white rice reminds you of your childhood dinners. Maybe white bread was your comfort food during tough times, and you know what? That's okay. Food is emotional. It holds memories. I'm not asking you to erase that. I'm asking you to honor your body now in this chapter of your life. You've come through so much. You've given so much. And now it's time to give something back to yourself. So if you're wondering where to start, let me give you this. Start with one meal. Maybe tomorrow morning, instead of white toast, you try whole grain. Or for dinner, you swap your white rice for quinoa or lentils. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just intentional, and the more you do it, the better you'll feel. Not in a week. Sometimes in just a day or two. So let me leave you with this thought before we move into our final chapter. Your body is always listening, and even at 60, 70, or 80 years old, it wants to heal. It's waiting for you to give it the chance. Let's talk next about how to build habits that last, so these changes don't feel like a diet, but a new, nourishing way of life. Ready? Making it stick, how to build a life that feels good again. So here we are, friend. You've made it this far with me. And that tells me something important. You're ready. You're ready to feel better. You're ready to take care of this amazing body that's carried you through so much, through joys and heartbreaks, through raising kids and building a life, through the hard times and the good ones. And now it's your turn. It's your time to feel strong again. Clear, balanced, energized. But let's be honest, how do we actually stick to this? Because let's face it, we've all tried to make changes before, haven't we? Maybe you tried a diet your doctor recommended, or a book someone gave you. Maybe you even saw a bit of progress, but then life got in the way. Old habits crept back in. You got tired, discouraged. And before you knew it, white rice and white bread were right back on the plate. I get it. Truly, I do. That's why this final chapter isn't about more food rules. It's about you, your life, your kitchen, your routines, and how we can make this change not just possible, but doable, even joyful. Let's start with this truth. Lasting change doesn't come from willpower. Willpower fades. It gets tired. It disappears the moment you're stressed, lonely, or overwhelmed. But habits keep going. Habits take over when willpower runs out. So instead of forcing change, we build it gently, one small, loving habit at a time. Let me walk you through a few ways you can start doing that, beginning today. Point 1. Change the environment before you change yourself. Here's the first secret. Your surroundings shape your decisions. If white bread is in the pantry, you'll reach for it. If white rice is in the cupboard, it'll end up on your plate. Especially when you're tired or hungry or just don't feel like thinking too hard. So let's start by cleaning house. Not in a drastic, overwhelming way. Just gradually. Next time you're at the store, skip the white rice and grab brown rice or quinoa instead. Skip the white bread and try a hearty, sprouted grain bread. If that feels like too much all at once, just commit to replacing one thing. That's it. Then at home, move the better choices to the front. Put your new bread where it's easy to reach. Put your white rice at the back of the shelf or give it away. You'll be amazed how much easier change becomes when it's the default, not the exception. Point 2. Make meals simple, satisfying, and familiar. You don't need fancy recipes or expensive ingredients to eat better. You just need simple swaps. Here's an example. Instead of a sandwich with white bread, try a wrap made with a low-carb tortilla or whole grain bread. Add some turkey, avocado, spinach, and mustard. Instead of white rice with dinner, try a scoop of lentils, black beans, or barley. Add a sprinkle of herbs, maybe even a little olive oil and garlic. Instead of cereal in the morning, try oatmeal. Not the instant kind loaded with sugar, but plain oats, cooked soft, with a few berries, cinnamon, and chopped nuts. It's about keeping the spirit of your meals, but upgrading the ingredients. And the best part? Once you adjust, these foods actually taste better. They satisfy you longer. And they don't send you crashing an hour later. Your taste buds adapt, and your body starts to crave the nourishment it really needs. Point 3. Don't do this alone. Here's something we often forget. Support is everything. You don't need a cheerleader. You need a partner, a friend, someone who understands what it's like to be in your shoes. So talk to your spouse, your sister, your neighbor. Tell them what you're trying to do. Share this journey. Better yet, cook together. Swap recipes. Go shopping together. You'd be surprised how many people are also quietly struggling, wishing someone would just start the conversation. You could be the spark that helps someone else feel better. 2.4. Be kind to yourself on the hard days, because they will come. There will be a day when you're tired and you grab that sandwich on white bread. Or someone brings over a dish made with white rice and you don't want to be rude. That's life. Here's what I want you to remember. You haven't failed. You're human. Point 1. Meal won't undo your progress. What matters is what you do next. Don't throw in the towel. Don't say I blew it, might as well give up. No. Just take the next bite with intention. The next meal with love. Your body forgives. And so should you. Point 5. Celebrate how far you've come. Every small change you make? That's a win. Did you swap white bread for whole grain? That's a win. Did you say no to rice and try cauliflower mash instead? Win. Did you go a full week without your blood sugar crashing mid-morning? Huge win. Write these things down. Say them out loud. Tell someone, because progress is built on noticing what's working and choosing to keep going. Now I want to leave you with a little story. One that stays with me. There's a woman I met. Let's call her Mary. Mary is 72. She spent most of her life eating the way she was raised, white bread with every breakfast, white rice at every dinner. She'd never been told otherwise. And honestly, she didn't think it mattered, but she started feeling off. Tired. Foggy. Her joints ached. Her doctor mentioned prediabetes, and something in her clicked. She decided she didn't want to spend the rest of her life declining slowly. She wanted to live fully. So she started small. First, she replaced white bread with sprouted grain. Then she started adding more veggies. She cut back on sugar in her coffee. She made quinoa for the first time and said, "Hey, this isn't half bad." 3 months later, she told me, "I feel like I got 10 years back." She walks every morning. She laughs more. Her memory is sharper. Her blood sugar is normal. She's not perfect, but she's committed. And you know what? You can do this too. You can feel better, stronger, brighter. No matter how long it's been, because it's not about giving things up. It's about giving yourself a better life. So here's what I want you to take away from this conversation. You don't need to eat white rice and white bread every day anymore. You've got better options now. Your body will thank you. Your mind will thank you. And the people who love you most, they'll thank you too, because you're choosing to stay here fully, vibrantly, for as long as you can. And that, my friend, is the most powerful gift you can give. So let's raise a toast, not with bread, but with hope. Here's to new habits. Here's to healing. Here's to you. You've got this. And I'll be right here, cheering you on every step of the way.